how hard the work was. How many days a week did you work?
Well, we worked 6 days a week, from 9 in the morning until eternity, depending on the show. And we had one day to refresh yourself, and that wasn't really enough. And you get pretty tired because there's so much waiting between scenes for the lighting and the camera and all that sort of thing. And you sit there and you try to not lose your character and you twiddle your thumbs and it's boring. And I think boredom is hard work, really.
Tell me about your experience on The Yearling. Why do you think you were chosen for that very important film?
Well, it was Clarence Brown. And Clarence had seen the Lost Weekend. And he told me later that he liked what he saw, but I had to bleach my hair because the boy was blonde. And Greg, of course, has very dark hair, and mine was dark. It wouldn't fit. So I bleached my hair, and in order to get, terrible to say, in order to get ready for The Yearling, I had to do the Cole Porter story as a blonde. And that didn't fit, but it had to be done because it was already committed. And so then we had a terrible heat wave, and they put ice, and there was a big cafe scene, where all the entertainers were there, and Cole was presenting. It was a big deal. They put ice on the roof and cracked the roof of the stage, and we had to move in that entire company to another stage before it would crumble on us. So we had to call MGM and say, look, I'm going to be late. And they said, well, we can't wait. So I said, well, I don't know what to tell you. Well, anyway, I did both of them at the same time. I finished the Cole Porter story and worked The Yearling at the same time. They would give me the days that I didn't have to work at Warner Bros. I was working at MGM, but I was blonde. And so they could do whatever they wanted, because I didn't wear any makeup anyway,
You didn't wear makeup in front of the camera?
No.
That made you very rare.
Well, Clarence asked me what I thought about it. I said, listen, if it's good for this part, which I think it is, no makeup, all warts and everything, let them all come out. But I have to wear my hair very pinned back and very old hat, And so everything had to work through the body, the face, and the voice.
Right. So you wouldn't describe yourself as a kind of Norma Desmond person. You weren't always like checking your...
Oh, never. As a matter of fact, they were lucky to find me.
Tell me the story about having to keep the little deer in place.
Oh, the deer, oh my. Well, we were sitting on the porch in The Yearling, and there was Claude Jarman Jr. and Greg and myself, and I was in a rocker, and he was sitting on the steps, and the little boy was playing with the deer. But the deer had grown little teeny horns, and it wanted to hop around and jump, So Clarence couldn't keep him in the set. So we broke for lunch, and we spent half a day, and they wired this thing that he was sitting in. And every time he moved, we'd give him a jolt, or Clarence would give him a jolt, and he'd go down again. And it took a whole day to do one page of dialogue, because the poor little thing wanted to play, But we finally got it. But it's an imaginative thing that Clarence could think of something like that. He just had the people come down and put little wires all around this deer, and if he moved, you give him the juice and he goes down. Doesn't hurt him.
That's amazing. Was it on Shootin' High that you had the Dick Powell story?
No.
Okay.
No, that was a Warner Brother musical that Dick was doing.
Dick was a great guy, right?
A wonderful,
wonderful
man, yes.
I haven't filmed Junie Allison because she's just had back surgery. But I'm going to film her eventually. But I understand that from Howard Koch.
Well, he was the dearest man on the world. And this was a story of the producer and star of the musical interviewing chorus girls. And it was the first line I ever spoke on the film. So he goes by all the girls, and the thing is, what's your name? And they give them, what do you do? Well, I tap dance, I did that. He got to me, and he said, this is what the writers do to you sometimes. He got to me, and he said, what is your name? And I said, Bessie Fumfnick. Oh, he says. He said, well, what do you do? I said, I swim, ride, dive, I swim, ride, dive, imitate wild birds, and play the trombone. Well, what do you know? In other words, we'll call you, don't call us. So that name stuck for so long. It was such a kidding thing around the lot. Here comes Bessie, here comes Bessie. And I said, stop that. It was just a part, just a part.